Hello and welcome to tonight's show. I'm your host Jason and we're going deep inside the 36-hour challenge. Tonight we're joined by the host, creator and producer of the 36-hour challenge, Ilya Kerig.
Hello.
Hello Ilya. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
And we're also joined by two contestants on the show. We have Sandy.
Evening.
Good evening. And Julie.
Hi.
So, Ilya, tell me a bit about yourself. What led you to become a digital content producer?
Well, in 2010, I did a film course. It was a 1-year part-time Foundations Film TV course. And after finishing it, I made a few short films. And then I thought, there is no future in short films. Like, you can keep making them, but people don't really like watching them. So I better create something more mainstream, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I was thinking either create a feature film, or then I thought, why not create a reality TV series?
Excellent.
Yeah, and that's how 36-hour challenge was born. I thought, if I plan very carefully, we can shoot all in one weekend, and then I'll be stuck editing, which means it won't be as expensive to make, pretty much. So that's how I thought I'll move my career along.
Yeah, excellent. And both of you ladies, what led you to the 36-hour challenge?
I've always been an avid and keen watcher of Survivor. I actually even applied for Australian Survivor the first time round, and
Wow.
there was 7,500 entries. And unfortunately, I missed out. But I'd always dreamt of, wow, I would love to be challenged and do something like that.
So in some way, you were actually be able to live, you lived one of your dreams.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Which was great.
Excellent. And what about you, Sandy?
I've never watched this show, to be honest. I saw it and just thought, you know, this sounds awesome. Just to get outside the box for a while and put a challenge to oneself.
Yeah, why not?
Adventure.
Yeah, that's
Adventure,
right. Exactly.
Obviously, a Survivor type show was the inspiration behind it. But yeah, just talk to us a little bit about the format of the show.
Well, all I knew is that we have 36 hours to make this show. And I thought we could easily have a challenge every 2 hours and then have an eviction every 2 hours. And that way we can go through 12 contestants.
But you only end up having 10 contestants.
And it was a bit of a short notice, I believe. It was a couple of weeks
Yes.
or something like that.
Yes.
We got only 10 people. We have planned for 12 people, and that's how the lucky rock draw idea came to life. We need to give 2 contestants second life, so that we'll have almost like 12 people, but actually it's 10 people plus 2 lifelines, so to speak.
To make up those 2 extra people.
Exactly. And that's how Chris and Adam, they got lucky and they got a second chance. And
So Ilya, talk to us about where the show was filmed.
that's another thing. To make it all happen, it needed to be done somewhere close to facilities, somewhere close to where eviction can take place, somewhere close to electricity, where we can eat, etc. I lived in the house, pretty much next to the field, the remote grassland, I think it's called. I thought, why not use it?
Did you have to get any shooting permits or anything like that? Or did you do it all guerrilla style?
Pretty much guerrilla style. I thought they wouldn't give us any permits because it's so unusual to have something like this. It's
But
probably
you never
easier
know.
to do it and then pay for it if you have to.
So considering the majority of the show, well, all of the show was filmed outside, essentially.
Yep.
You know, what sort of issues did you encounter outside?
Well, you could probably see from some of the shots in the show, like some of them are too dark, some of them are too bright. The wind, like the Frisbee challenge. Initially, when we thought we're going to shoot that way and everything will be fine and there'll be no house on the background. But then when we tried throwing the Frisbee, it just wouldn't fly because the wind was blowing a certain way. And so we had to try reverse everything, reverse the cameras, and we're shooting against the houses. It didn't look too good, but at least the Frisbees were flying. Yeah.
Julie, what was your favourite challenge?
Would probably have been the one where we had to pick up the balls. Well, this is when we'd merged. And then we had to put them in the bucket, and it was sort of like a knockout of over 3 things, and the balancing of the wood. I found that the most fun for myself.
Excellent.
I enjoyed that, and I was pretty close.
But Sandy, what was your favourite challenge?
My favourite challenge was block on the end of the stick.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
That was the one.
that
That was
triple
the-
one.
The very
Second part of that challenge.
Yeah,
Oh,
the second
yes.
part of that challenge, walk down, come back 3 times. I love that challenge.
Yeah, yeah,
It
same
took me
here.
ages to finally get. Got to get the stings to stay on the stick. And the ground was a little uneven, which made it even harder. But the look, the concentration.
Yeah.
It was a good challenge. It was fun to edit as
Yeah.
well. I put the music where we all like toon, 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 toon. Yeah, it was good.
So what was the story behind the first challenge, best of 3?
Because we didn't explain how the challenge works properly. People would just throw the balls all together, so it was a bit chaotic.
One at a time. Sorry, guys. One at a time.
One team won, and I said, "Oh, sorry, it's not how it goes." And they said, "Oh, but we already won." And then we said, "Okay, let's do best of 3, but now with correct rules." And that's when we did another round when people would actually throw the balls one at a time.
Right. Yeah.
So
I wasn't
Yeah.
very happy about that, and I'll tell you why. Besides losing, when they first put the rope around and tied us up,
Yeah.
I said to our team, just push your hands out a little bit further so the ropes are going to be looser. And they did that, and we won that first one. And then when the second time they roped us up and tied us up, it was so much tighter.
was it?
Yeah, we asked them to do that.
Thanks.
I think there are probably lots of ways you can find an easier way for yourself to do those challenges because we don't have enough judges and people to see those little things.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
which is a fair call.
yeah.
I thought, oh, they've missed this, let's take advantage of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, talk to us about the process that you went through to create the challenges.
Pretty much idea was to provide as much variety as possible. Like that challenge with the stick, it was more for patience and concentration and
And some were focus-based, some were strength-based.
yeah, and some are puzzles. Pretty much, yeah, to go for variety and also how to make them fun and cheap
Yeah, yeah.
because yeah, we didn't have much money to make all this, and I think it worked out okay.
Yeah, great. Really good. Yeah.
Well, what was your, I asked you what your favourite challenge was. I'm going to ask you now. I'll start with you, Sandy. What was your least favourite challenge?
You come back, you're here.
I'll start with you, Sandy. What was your least favourite challenge?
Put water. I drank more water than I put in the bucket.
Oh, yes.
Yes, God.
Sandy, you have to pick it up, not drink it, pull it out.
I nearly drowned. I did.
That was fun to watch. I must admit.
I thought I'll make that challenge the first one in the morning. It's like to freshen them up.
Good idea. So that was your least favourite.
That was my least favourite.
And what about you, Julie? What was your
Mine
least
was
favourite?
probably the frisbee throwing. Not that I've done a lot of that anyway, but I thought, oh, this shouldn't be so bad. And then, you know, you threw the first one, it was like, wow, that went way over there. And then the next one went. And I just, I don't know, maybe if I had another hour or two's practice, I might have been all right. But that was probably my worst, I feel.
So, Ilya, tell us the story behind the double challenge, double eviction situation.
Yeah, that wasn't planned, I believe.
Oh,
The reason for
do
that
tell.
was it was getting dark, pretty much. And I know for us it took about half an hour to go from the field to the eviction area, so we have to move all the cameras back and forth. I thought, why not do 2 challenges and then just do 2 evictions? Because it still should balance itself out. And it worked out pretty well, I thought.
Despite things like weather and moving equipment around, was there any other production issues that you ran into that you think affected the final cut?
Mostly because we have an experienced crew, including myself. When we initially decide to shoot certain things one way, it might have not been an ideal way, and then we change things, and then it affects the other things, and in the end, you end up with cameras shooting cameras and booms in shot, and cameras trying to not to take other cameras in shot, which means the framing of the contestants might be a bit crooked.
Could you do a 2-second shot of that team? Try to frame out people on the background.
There's a lot of free.
I think that's why they do it always in the bushes in the jungle, those kind of shows, because they can hide the cameras.
The planning, if I would have done it today, would have been a bit more strict. We would have all the cameras on one side rather than cameras. Pretty much had cameras all around the contestants, which was really hard to edit. Meaning, again, cameras shooting cameras.
Yeah, you can't, yeah.
But in the show, you don't really see it.
No.
Good job.
Is that one of my other questions was, what's your biggest takeaway from this whole, from producing this show? Would that be it? One of the biggest?
There are too many things. I reckon it just you learn so much by doing something like this. Because to produce that show, there are so many departments responsible for different things. But in our case, we had camera operators, we had boom operators, and we had first AD, contestant coordinator, me as a director. That's pretty much all the crew we had.
And I guess you're taking on the post-production roles
We're
as well.
taking on lots of roles for production, and then taking on lots of roles for post-production. Like post-production is just a completely different thing, and that's the hardest bit in a reality show. Actually, is post-production.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get to that later. But first of all, did you want to talk to me about the budget that you had? Was the 36 hour, was it self-funded, or did you have sponsors, or was it, did you have to mortgage your house?
Yeah, it was definitely self-funded.
Wow.
Budget. Well, if you look at the price of the show, $100. Whatever I could cut corners on, I did, trying not to spend money and trying to do everything as much as possible myself.
Well, that's quite extraordinary.
About 2,000.
Wow, quite a tight budget, and I think considering the quality of the post-production, because the television show looks quite sharp, to get something like that, I know requires a lot of time, and the fact that you did it basically with limited amount of cash, I mean, it's quite a testament to you, really.
Well, that's why it took so long.
Yes,
That's one of the questions probably you have there coming from me.
That's right.
Why it takes so long? Probably you also wonder. You probably stopped caring about it a couple of years after.
I thought you canned it, actually. I thought
Yeah, I thought
yeah.
Considering we're already there, I'll ask the question. So, Ilya, why did post-production take so long?
Again, because there are lots of departments doing post-production. Assistant editors, there are color graders, there are audio mixers, dialogue editors,
Motion graphics creator.
motion graphics, like
Visual
what is it?
effects.
Yeah, visual effects, all the fancy bits that you see there. Every department, each department for each of those things easily, and there are multiple people in each department.
Correct. But you're,
So,
but you're one man.
I'm a one man. That's the thing. That's the difference. And I had a day job, so everything had to be done in the evenings, and that's why it stretched so long. Firstly, I had to learn all those things because I didn't know 90% of the things that I know now when I started editing this. Learning time and doing it because it does take time.
Wow. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you did, actually.
I'm here.
Good job.
Thank you.
In terms of the budget, Ilya, what were the two biggest expenses that you had in terms of cost?
For actual production, the biggest expense was probably food for the crew.
Not for the contestants.
Oh, no.
No, we got, no.
We did.
And I'll show you these things. That was also a bit of a cost.
Oh.
$30 each. Almost blew our budget. So
The whole budget went right there, folks.
So this one is Torch of Misery.
That's it. I got that here somewhere. Now, who named that?
It's me. Yeah, I think it worked out okay.
And what was
Got a laugh out of contestants when I said it.
The Torch of Misery.
We had to hire a tent.
Where the stair, did you have to get the steps built over the
That
fence?
was myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well done.
so I built the steps. And actually the biggest cost would have been is the equipment if I wasn't working in a place where I could borrow equipment.
Aha.
So that's another reason for making this happen, because I had access to equipment I could use. That's why I thought I could make it happen fairly cheaply. Yeah. And in terms of post-production, budget on post-production, the biggest expense was the music.
Did you pay for someone to do the music?
I actually bought a bunch of music, paid like $900 for royalty-free pack of music.
Wow.
And it was definitely worth it, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Sound definitely makes
I do.
Yeah, you
Sit
don't pay
in the
attention. When it flows well, you kind of forget that it's there. But actually, that's one of the biggest thing I'm proud of is the music design. How one music goes into another, how it stops sometimes, how it starts again. Now, like it kind of tells the story.
Yeah, it carries the story across as well. Like
Yeah.
it really, it was great work there on the music and sound, I thought.
Thanks. It's cold. 36-hour challenge for everyone here.
Did you stick to your budget?
I think it was very good. Didn't spend more than we had to. And also because why would you spend on something that's not going to make any money?
Oh, of course, as well.
I thought there is a slight chance that it might make some money, but not likely.
The last budget question is, if you had a larger budget, let's just say that you had someone was throwing cash at you, what location would you want to film in and why?
Doesn't really matter. Well, it would be ideal to have a nice location.
Yeah.
Like no hazards on the background.
Well, let's just stick to that then.
Yeah.
No houses on the horizon.
No parking signs.
Pretty much, yeah. Something by the water would have been nice.
Yeah.
Water challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe by the river, or,
Yeah.
but I doubt I'll do something like this ever again.
Well, that was one of my other questions
just-
I won't ask. No. So no more reality style TV shows for you.
Do you think I should? I don't know. Do you think it's worth
Well, a
doing
lot of
something
people
like this?
like to see reality shows of a sort.
Well, I did see some comments that people had written on on the YouTube
Yeah.
for your show.
Is the season 2?
Yeah, what's happening with the second season?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't realise it was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, don't tell them.
Oh, look, I do know the people that I know have watched it. I love it. Absolutely.
So, did either of you ladies go in with a specific strategy into the game?
I think I went in with let's just get these challenges, do the best I can, and see if I can progress.
Did you have any idea what you're getting yourself
No.
into?
No, absolutely none. I think once I worked out the way things were going to pan out, then it sort of said, well, okay, this is where you need to play a bit of a game. So I did get grilled on an occasion, asked, did I take the ride?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I took the ride. I think I planned the ride. So that was my strategy, was just to find out who was the best one and just go with it.
Go with it.
But keep up as much as I could do, so that if there was a time where I think it's getting close to I'm going to get voted out, win some challenges and keep going.
Sandy's on 28. Sandy, where's the challenge?
Julie, did you have a strategy going in?
Not really. My plan was to basically try and get on with everybody without sort of being too under the radar or too over the top. And really was to try my best at challenges, suss everything out. But I pretty much worked out who the real threats were and where it was heading. So
Did you pick an early favourite to win?
I thought Dino or Chris
yes, yeah.
from my team would have, but they spotted him a mile off that he was probably going to be a fairly serious challenge. And then I thought, no, Matt's Matt's the kingpin on the other side.
And what about you, Sandy? Did you pick anyone?
Oh,
for-
look,
would you
I
pick
figured
anyone,
we'd ride the whole ride through and Matt would go through.
or- Yeah, wow,
Yeah.
yeah. What about yourself, Ilya? Did you have a favourite contestant at all, or did you pick anyone?
Not at all.
No.
Like I really tried to stay impartial, and plus I didn't have time for that.
No, yeah.
It was busy. It was
Probably
busy.
too stressed with everything.
Pretty much, because there's so many things that
Yeah.
could go wrong, and they have to manage crew, cameras, etc.
Definitely. Considering you were the host and you were the director, you're also the producer, we've also learned that you did a lot in the post-production process as well. Talk to me about what challenges you encountered being the host and the director.
If you want to learn the most, you have to do the most. And I think it wouldn't have happened any other way around, because it would have taken longer for me to direct a host, but I knew what needed to happen. On the other side, if I was a director, then I would have more control over what's cameras shooting and what's host is doing and what is host is saying. Like there are so many things left behind the scenes that I had to kind of cut and make sure host actually says things that he's supposed to say. Because they know, because I made so many mistakes and said so many wrong things, mispronouncing things. That
Oh, yes.
it was funny. Yeah.
So what you're saying is, even though it was a challenge to be the director and the host, you're saying the learning curve was well worth it, was well worth the difficulty.
For sure, yeah. Like even though it was harder in editing, still the experience that I had hosting and being Jeff Probst, yeah, it was great.
I'll start with you, Sandy. What was the most funniest moment that you can think of?
The challenge is you'd be doing something and then Ilya'd start laughing.
Yeah.
And I can't concentrate now, I'm giggling. Yeah, it was the fun things and the things that went on. That was just, I don't know if all of them were in the show, but there was times where I'd look at him and he'd be laughing. What do we do? Yeah, lots of funny moments.
What about you, Julie? Is there anything that stands out in your mind in terms of funniest moments?
Yeah, well, I suppose the funniest to me, besides all the other little bits around, we had a good laugh. It was all good fun and we all enjoyed it. And I'll be honest when I say this, and I'm a bit ashamed to say this, but I'll be honest, on the brick challenge where we had to make the puzzle up on the wall that was standing with bricks.
Oh, yeah, that lizard.
I had no idea what was what and where. And if you see on the camera, you'll see me down there with my head down, picking up bricks, going from left to right and there and studying. I had no idea.
Actually, hang on. Sorry. See how that's... no, maybe not. That's not going to go in there, is it? No.
Thought, well, the others aren't picking up on it, so I'll just look like I'm really busy. So if you happen to watch it again...
You look like you had it worked out.
Oh,
Not
a clue.
You were in control. Did that challenge take the longest? Because
Yes.
that was
I
over
think
an
it did,
hour,
yes.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
If I remember.
Yeah. Oh, the editing, it was
Must have been painful.
yeah, it was challenging.
So considering the show was produced back in 2011, and it's 2018 now, so 7 years have gone by. Is it strange for either of you to be reminiscing about the show and coming back talking about it? Or?
Oh, no.
No.
It's almost like it was yesterday.
Yeah. And I just
Great.
come in and saw Sandy and I thought, oh my God, she's lost weight and I've put on weight. No, there's no animosity or anything like that at all.
Great.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us tonight on Inside the 36-Hour Challenge. And if you've missed an episode, you can find us on YouTube. Please feel free to let us know your thoughts and comments. I'd like to thank my guests, Sandy and Julie, for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
And the show producer, director and host, Ilya Kerig. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.